What's good, y'all? My name is Dylan Green, and this is Real Notes, a space dedicated to blurring the cultural and artistic lines between rap and film. I'm here to chop it up with everyone from rappers and producers to journalists and video directors about their relationship to movies and how, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest this week is North Carolina-based rapper, producer, and label head Cheeno Ghee. We spoke about Kanye West, Jeen-Yus, the power of a good music documentary, true crime, Belly, the legacy of Hype Williams, growing up between Atlanta, Brooklyn, and North Carolina, what it means to freestyle in 2022, the art of battle rap, founding GCE Tha Label, and the creative process behind her projects Child and To Whomever It Concerns. Come fuck with us. What's cracking? Welcome back, everybody. Real Notes type shit. I don't know why I was thinking about counting episodes. I haven't done that in so long. It's whatever number episode this is. We're like a handful deep into season 2. Shit's going cool. It's March. It's the birthday month. It's Pisces season. Everybody's out here. We're out here. Dylan Green, CineMasai. I got a lot of names. I do a lot of shit. And I'm with somebody here today who also does a lot of shit and has just been killing it for the last like however many years. Rapper, producer, Brooklyn, Atlanta, and North Carolina representative in the place to be. We got Cheeno Ghee in the house.
What's going on?
Yo, thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate you so much.
Oh no, likewise. I love when people be like, Brooklyn, Atlanta, and North Carolina. I'm like, yeah.
We gotta make sure, all love for the nomads in hip hop at all times.
Absolutely. What's going on?
I'm cooling, just like it's like 12:30 on a Thursday afternoon. Just thinking about what lunch is gonna be like after all this, and just like ready to talk about music and movies and just everything you got going on in your life and shit.
Let's do it.
Let's go. So I'm gonna ask the same question I ask everybody who comes on. What's the last movie or TV show that you watched that you had a strong opinion about?
Well, obviously, I'm probably like everybody. The last thing I watched was the Kanye doc.
Right.
I just finished that shit up last night. Strong opinion is the understatement. I don't know. I've always had like a weird like pull to Kanye. Like everybody probably, but
right.
But even before all the bizarre shit, like he's just always been one of my go-to creatives, and I think the doc put a lot of shit into perspective for me because I had a little bit of a distaste in my mouth for him probably in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I feel like you're not alone on that. You're definitely not, at least not over here.
Yeah, no. I was like, fuck, man. But just to see like all the context around it, the behind the scenes, I think that was perfect for fans and for people who probably weren't the greatest fans of Kanye. So that shit was like that.
Right. Yeah, no, I get it. Like I've actually been talking about this with a bunch of people and a bunch of friends over the course of the last like 3 days. So like full disclosure, yeah. I haven't seen a full episode of the doc yet. I've seen clips.
Oh, I won't ruin it.
No. Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting that. But like I've seen enough clips and things to like kind of, like I really appreciate like behind the scenes stuff like that. And I feel like everybody, like it's crazy to say of a certain age at this point because like we're all about that old now. So like people right. Like rap fans of a certain age, we all have a very complicated relationship with Kanye West. But like I just but like it's just I'm gonna get to it when I get to it because I do want to sit down and I do want to watch it. And I've seen a lot of people have a lot of different reactions between like it's been like people who just appreciate it for the behind the scenes aspect. There are some people who feel like it doesn't like go in hard enough on him and the decisions he's made. But I feel like the third part kind of gets into a lot more of that, because like the first two is more like the early stuff, like particularly like the college dropout and late registration stuff. But like I just you know, like I remember when I first got College Dropout on CD and like listening to it and like seeing the All Falls Down video and like just all that stuff. And he's like, Kanye is just like what, like he's like, his influence is so hard to deny that
absolutely.
Like he's just like a part of the DNA of so many artists and so many people that we all love. And like and you're like, we can never take that away from people. But I've also just kind of like, I was talking to my man Alphonse about this yesterday, because he just reviewed he reviewed Donda 2 for Pitchfork. Shout out to Alphonse and Pitchfork.
I was about to say shout out to him.
So like, you know, like I could tell around the time I stopped caring about like the spectacle of Kanye was right after Pablo. Like right after that was when I was like, all right, I'm straight. I don't really need this no more. But like I can agree with that. And like what you said, I won't spoil it, but fucking it's definitely a difference in the two parts versus the last part that I watched last night, because I kind of went to bed feeling like this perspective is very much from a friend's perspective. So, you know, I didn't anticipate him getting, because there was like certain shots, as soon as Kanye started to go on those Kanye tangents, you know, he would cut the camera off and that would be obvious. So you can't anticipate. I didn't anticipate his friend whom he approved the documentary. You know what I mean? You can't expect too much of a Kanye bashing. Right. But what I will say is, I love the fact that, you know, they included his mother, her influence, and then you can see the transformation. You can see the difference right after she passed. I think it was like a no-brainer to put the two and two together. Like, okay, this man lost, you know what I mean? Once you lose an influence like that, let alone your mother, it's kind of like, okay. Yeah, facts. And you're like, on top of that, it's been like really difficult to like parse everything he's been doing, with the fact that he's also like he's also bipolar, and like that's like that makes it even more complicated. It's just like I have a lot of feelings about Kanye that I can't really like, I can't possibly begin to like, that's like a whole other hour and a half conversation. But you know, like for real. But not like the footage that Coodie was able to get of Kanye and like their relationship, and just excuse me, Coodie and like everybody else who was, I forget the name of the original person who was there from like the early times. It might be Coodie, but Cheeky. You know, Cheeky, there we go. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so like they were, you know, like I really I really appreciate, I always appreciate a good like behind the scenes, especially on somebody like Kanye, who's kind of like not like private, but you know, like there were things about that those early days that were really like controlled, like as much as we knew about Kanye as this like guy who always believed in himself and like pushed his ideas no matter what, there is still so much about, like, even taking a song like Last Call, you know, like Last Call is supposed to be like the document that like explains everything, but like even from the clips I saw, like there's so much that he left out. You know, like the story is just like there's like hella chapters. So I'm interested to kind of see where it goes, but like I'm taking my time.
You and me both.
I'm taking my time, you know.
Absolutely. Wait for all the hype to die down. That's usually how I operate, but this is just, like I said, my pull is a little bit stronger with the Ye story. So I
feel you. Yeah, like it's like I can't judge anybody for being curious. Like, you know, like how can you not be? Like, you know?
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, but like so that's a really, you know, like that's like the thing that everyone's been talking about right now. But at the same time, like that's like that specific kind of film is just always really, really interesting to me. I'm always like, I just love a good documentary. I love just like, I was about to say,
yeah, man.
Like, yeah, like like, do you have any other like specific favorite documentaries that you can think of? Like, they don't even have to be like music documentaries. What about those kind of like attracts you to them?
I always take the time to watch a musician's documentary just because, for the fact of, I'm kind of a private person, so I'm just always interested to see like, oh, these people trust these people around their ideas all day long, whatever. So prior to Kanye's, I actually watched Kid Cudi's and grew a whole nother like respect for him. Like I can say that I probably slept on Kid Cudi's influence a little bit. Even just on me, you know, he was the artist of vulnerability, and I would consider myself to be like that. So,
Right.
I really liked how they put his together. Prior to all the bullshit with Travis Scott, his documentary was actually one of my favorites.
I still haven't peeped that yet either.
It is dope. I just really like to see the climb. You know
Right.
what I mean, and the grind that goes into it. So most of my documentaries that I've watched lately and really favorite have been from artists. Outside of that, I like you know, like crime shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I be wanting to get to the darker side sometimes. So
what was the last one of those you caught?
I want to say it was about that. It was a documentary on that American killer. What was his name? White guy that killed his wife and 3 kids.
Oh, the one like like the real recent one, right?
Yeah.
Ish? Yeah. I can't remember his name, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
I feel like his name is Chris, but then I think every white guy's name is Chris, so I don't know. But I feel like it's Chris.
I feel it.
I do, but it was good.
Yeah, like, if I'm remembering the one you're talking about, I think I caught a bit of that, or like it might have been different because they did like an ABC TV special about it, and
I was gonna
watching
say
it.
he's got like 3 stories. The most recent one I watched, because I saw the original on Netflix. The most recent one I watched was, I think, on one of those other streaming networks, and it's more so from his perspective. And it's just insane to see him talk about it, like post everything. So the Netflix one was kind of like in the beginning, and you know, as the story was developing, but to see him post his family and everybody dying was like, it's like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah, you're talking about American Murder: The Family Next Door, right? The one on Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, I'm just looking up the guy's name because I don't remember it off top. It was let me pause the trailer. Chris Watts. Yeah, you were right. His name is Chris Watts.
Boom. Okay, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
you got
crazy.
it. Yeah. So I didn't see the Netflix one, but there's they did like an ABC or they did I think it was like Extra. It was some TV thing that my dad and my sister were watching, and like I popped in and caught the details, and I was just like, this is a fucking crazy ass story. Like,
it's so insane.
Yeah,
it's so insane. Netflix did a good job with that one. I would check that one out when you feel like it.
All right. Yeah. No. I'm definitely gonna tap in. I kind of check that stuff a little sparingly. Like my partner is pretty big into that. And
yeah, same.
and you know, like I like it. It's not like I don't like it. It's just like not my I don't always go looking for it sometimes.
Right.
But like every once in a while, like I'm ready for that. Like, you know, like it's like I'll jump from the last music documentary, like the most recent one that I saw was the DMX one that they did on HBO Max. I just watched it because like that. That shit.
I'm not gonna hold you. I did not finish that. That shit was getting me emotional.
yeah, it was rough. That was rough, bro. Like the one, like what did it for me was watching him and his son reconcile outside the diner at the very end. Like I was really about to cry. It was a lot.
I did not finish that shit. It's just he's one of those artists for me, man. It would be like no different than a fucking fucking if Ye had passed, and this was Ye's passing documentary. Like I don't know that I would finish it
Yeah.
to the end.
Yeah, no, I had to thug it out and push it through. It was a lot, but like, but I would go, like I'll go from stuff like that to like there was I started watching this John Wayne Gacy little mini series they had on Peacock. I didn't finish it, but but like they had like a bunch of like archival interviews that he did with like a police officer that hadn't been released to the public before, and I was like,
wow.
I was like real intrigued. Like he's like obviously bro is a sicko. But I was like a little intrigued by just like seeing, because I had never seen or heard him talk before. That was really like the big draw, like for me to just kind of hear his voice and then be like, all right, that's what he sounds like, and then just kind of distance myself. But like it's yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So like let's run it back even further for you, like with the movies and shit. Like what was like what's the first movie experience you can remember having? Like it could be at the movie theater, it could be at your cousin's house, it could be like any sort of random memory that just comes back to you about seeing a movie for the first time.
Man. Interestingly enough, like my Nana is she put me on all of the, I guess you could say, more like urban type of films that stuck with me through my adulthood. So like I want to say I saw Belly for the first time at my Nana's crib. And that really got me into just that, like I said, those Black classics, those urban classics.
Right.
I remember that. She was also really into like I would say biblical cartoon movies, which I could not find any of those now to save my life. But there's a movie called The Devil's Music. It was like an animated, it's like an old school animation. And Mos Def was voiced the main character.
Oh.
It was dope as fuck, bro. And it was basically like the story of the music business, like the whole you sell your soul for the riches, but then the devil comes back to get what you owe from the beginning, and it kind of showed that was one of the first films she actually showed us as kids, because we were in Brooklyn still, in her apartment. I want to say I was elementary school, or early elementary school, and that just kind of drew me into, like I said, I have a thing for seeing those types of stories from our perspective. That was obviously a Black director. The artist was like the story of like the famous jazz player. The guy played the sax.
Yeah.
And he wanted the riches, so he made the deal with the devil. That forsaken deal, and he got all the riches and he got all the women, but then surely, the demise follows, and can't find that shit to save my life. Like I said, I've been looking for that movie probably a few years now, because it was just that dope. And then it's like, it's that like relative to current right now. I don't know. I hear more talk about it now. And the whole selling your soul shit, I hear more about that now than I did today. So I guess my Nana was ahead of her time with it.
Hey.
But yeah, man, in a lot of ways.
It's like that sometimes.
In a lot of ways.
I won't hold you. I never heard of this before. Like I found it
Bro.
So there's DVDs available on Amazon. It says there's 2 left in stock. I'm looking at it right now. I'm gonna send you the link when we're done here. But like I'm looking.
Oh man.
Yeah, because like, son, I never heard of this before. I'm looking at like I'm reading the description. Like, this is by it was written and directed. It was written and created by Cheo Adari Coker, who's this he's a journalist and I'm like a writer for TV. He's the guy who wrote the Biggie movie that came out back in like 06, 07. And
that makes sense.
And he also created and was the showrunner for the Luke Cage show on Netflix. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can definitely see. Okay. So now that I know what Luke Cage is, I can see the relativity in the animation. Obviously, that was years ago.
Right.
But you can see the style. Okay, that's dope as fuck. So it's on Amazon.
Yeah. Just go type in either type in The Devil's Music, or I'll just send you the link later. And you just put
Please
me
just give me
on
the link.
because like I said, I've never heard of this before, so I'm gonna definitely have to go find this. It might even be on YouTube low key, so I might try to see if I can't find like a stream or something. But either way, like,
it's just one of those ill just keepsakes. It's just something to have in the archive, I think.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm definitely one of those, like one of those, like, gotta have it for the archive. I just picked up speaking of, I just picked up Menace to Society. The Criterion Collection put out like a nice like limited edition with like a 4K restoration and like a bunch of special features with the Hughes brothers and everything. Like, yeah, so I had to grab it. I
don't blame you.
Man, I do not blame you. I'm like really interested in this movie now. I gotta go find it.
It's so fucking dope. I feel like it was like probably 30-45 minute watch, but it just like I'm 25 now. I saw that movie in elementary school and I still remember it. So
yeah, it says this is from like 2005, or at least or at least the DVD is from 2005. But nah, I'm gonna look into that later. You just put me on. Thank you, Cheeno. I appreciate
it. Of course. I be trying. You put me on. I gotta do something.
Hey, man. So like from that moment on, because like it seems like I had a pretty big impact on you. But like were there any other movies as you got older that kind of made you fall in love with like the art of filmmaking? Like not even in terms of like the technical aspects if you don't want it to, but just like something about a specific movie that made you like focus on it and just like appreciate it more than you would have appreciated watching like anything else,
Yeah. So what's crazy is you're gonna eventually have to talk to my sister one of these days. She's like more technical in film, but we both grew to have our pulls to it. My pull to film has always been like aesthetics.
Right.
So like I can't tell you what the shot was. My sister can tell you what kind of shot was this shot. I don't do all that. I just know, these colors and this angle is fucking crazy.
Right.
So I remember specifically, I loved Hype Williams from an early beginning. So
always,
so Belly was important to me.
Shout out to Hype Williams forever and ever.
Yeah. So Belly was important to me, and a lot of his music videos, even I felt had like a cinematic feel to them, and I would say outside of like the more like generic things, I really have a like for like colors. So I would say Kill Bill early on, like the colors and the font and the fucking like the transitions of that movie, like how it almost had like a comic book, or like you were reading the movie as the chapters were going. You know what I mean? That kind of
right.
stuff. That kind of shit. It stuck with me. So then I started to seek out films solely for the looks and less about the actors or sometimes even the plot. Like sometimes the plot will go over my, will miss me, and I'll more so be dialed in on whoever like produced this, whoever directed this shot right here, this scene right here. So Kill Bill was a big one for me.
Right. That makes sense.
Tarantino was a guy for me.
Right. Yeah. Because like like whatever else you have to say about Tarantino, like he's got style. Like that's one of the big things.
No, for real.
Like he's like, and like I'm happy you brought up Kill Bill, because like one of my favorite parts of the first one is when they're telling Orenishi's story, and it just flips over to the anime shit. Like it's like that was just like I remember the first time I saw that. And because like I think at that point, I mean, like I had seen anime at that point and I knew what it was. It's not like he introduced me or anything, but like nobody, I had never seen anybody go from live action to animation in that specific way. And I was like, oh, you can do that. Like, that's like like that's like a real cool aesthetic thing that I was like, this is tight, you know? Like I must have been in like late middle school, early high school when that shit came out. So
It was
like,
just I'll never forget that shit. I got so like, I'm not even the biggest anime cat to this day, but I can't deny talent. And when I like the way something looks, like when I know something is either being done for the first time or just being done really fucking well, I can tell.
right.
And it kind of it draws me into it. I had a thing with, for the longest I was obsessed with the Boondocks because I felt like is this black anime, like, you know what I mean, like, is this black anime? I don't I'm not sure, but the language and the style of the drawing and the, like, I used to try to draw, and I wasn't the worst, and my sketches will always try to resemble like the looks of the Boondocks characters.
Right.
But I just thought that that drawing was crazy.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I was a huge Boondocks fan too. And like I've always kind of grappled with whether or not the Boondocks is strictly anime. Like it's definitely anime inspired, but I don't know if I would call it like it's weird. Like I'm not really like, I don't know if I'm the right person to like say whether or not it is, but like it's just it's something I've always thought about, and it's always something I like to talk to people about, especially people who are like familiar with the show. I got they did this like merch run at Hot Topic back in the day, and my dad got me this hoodie that had like it had Huey and Riley on the bottom of it. And like I think it's still in my closet. I can't dig through it right now because I got too much shit in there.
Crazy.
But like, yo, you're like, I'm gonna find it later and send you a picture. Like, shit is crazy.
I had the Huey t-shirt.
I had the hoodie, and I had the there was like a red t-shirt with like Riley doing the little punch with like the phone hands that he used to do. It's like it's like the silhouette of that, and it says the Boondocks under it. I got it like real oversized because like, you know, like oversized shit was all the rage back in the day.
Absolutely.
And that shit fits me better now than it did in high school, which is so funny.
Well, look at that.
You know, like, we just came back around. You were
gonna wear it. Yeah, like, you were gonna wear it later on.
Right, facts. Funny. But back to Hype Williams, because I like no one.
Man,
I'm so surprised that like you're the first person to talk to me about Hype Williams on the show. I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm sorry to any guest listening who may have brought him up at one point, but like I think you're the first one. Like,
I'll take it. I'll take this being a second, whatever. But you gotta bring him up.
Yeah, for real. Like, so like, were there any? So like outside of Belly, which like, you know, like the intro to Belly is one of my favorite moments in any movie ever. Like, just like I'm gonna always in my mind feel like I can remake that shit at some point. Like, immaculate. I haven't yet, but I have to. Now that you said it, now we gotta hold you to it and shit. So like outside of Belly, like what, like were there any other specific like Hype Williams videos that really grabbed you? Like I know a couple of my favorites. I love Buster's Give Me Some More, and I think
about to say Buster.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you talk. Go for it.
No, I love that video. My favorite obviously is gonna come from Missy.
Right. Come on.
The super duper fly video is outrageous.
Yeah.
Outrageous. From the one, I mostly like how he makes her look. For Missy to be like 5'3", 5'4", something like that, I think it'll depict her in like a larger way. Like, she always looks bigger than she is in real life, and not size weight wise. I mean like height.
Right. Yeah. I get what you mean.
And I think that, you know what I mean? I think that matches the bravado that she brings to the record. And in that Super Duper In the Rain video, I thought that shit was just insane.
Man, that's one of my favorite.
The iconic.
One of my favorite videos of all time, son. Like, just like the trash bag suit is like, yeah, like she's goated forever off that with the glasses. Like, just such a, like, you know what that is. Like, you like, even if you don't know any of Missy's other music, like, you know that image. It's just there, you know?
Literally. And I like, me and my sister used to be scared of the video when we were younger, but the What's It Gonna Be with Janet and Buster. That video used to
Why?
What my sister, I think she used to be scared of the water, the faces in the water, and my thing was
Mm,
just Janet's makeup used to fuck my head up, and so I was like, but as you grow up, and I just watched Janet's documentary too, and I was like, hey, I'm not scared of this video. You know what I mean? I've been watching it a lot lately actually, and I love that one. One, I like the obviously the risk that he takes in the videos.
right.
Like, would that mostly? I feel like would the videos that Hype Williams done, would they do well today? And I can say yes. I feel like for the most part, yes. Obviously, maybe a few upgrades because what we can do with our cameras now and with editing now has evolved. But I feel like his videos would hold over well. And if we were
Right.
still doing shows like 106 in Park and fucking MTV Top 20 video countdowns, would he be in the top 5, top 10? Absolutely. And that's
Yeah.
important to me because I'm all about longevity, even if it's just a video. So,
Right.
those
And
are probably, those,
I'm
no,
s-
go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you good. You good. I
Um,
was just going to say, those would probably be some of the things that I go into my videos with. Obviously, the budget is different on every one. Sometimes we got the range to do exactly what
right.
I want. Sometimes we have the range to get very fucking close. But either way, I look back and I'm like, this will stand, and this will stand the test of time.
Right. Yeah, and like the crazy thing about Hype Williams is that he hasn't even really stopped. Like the last time I remember, like the two recent videos of his, I'm like the first one's not like super recent, but like he directed the video for Wayne's 6 foot 7 foot with like all the movie references in it and shit, which is like always really cool to me. And then
Yeah,
and then
I didn't know
and
he
then
did that video.
yeah, nah, he did that video, and then he did the Dr. Bird's video for Griselda too, which came out I think a
Mm,
couple years ago at this point. Like, so like he's still around and still doing stuff, but it's not as much as he used to. But like I think,
right.
but like that's like, but like to your point about longevity and like standing the test of time, like that's like his style is just like so like over the top and like really just like it's just like so full of life and just like it just
I
feels
love it.
timeless to me. Like, like even watching something like the Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Could See video, like that's timeless.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was directly based
Absolutely.
on Coming to America, but like you could put that
Exactly.
out now and people will go crazy. Like
This is
that's
what I'm
just
saying.
right. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying, and I fuck with that. And also, it's like you want to be one of those in whatever you do. We talk
Right.
about directors right now. You want to be the director that even in your most inactive years, people still want your name in the fucking credits.
Yeah.
Like you want to. People still want your vision and your input. Like you want to be like that, and I feel like because even you heard Kanye bring up Hype Williams' name a couple times in the doc. Like he's
Right.
telling his guys, like, like y'all are my boys, y'all are my family, but I'm trying to make a movie. So when I think movie, I think Hype Williams, and I thought that was like obviously like yeah, Hype Williams.
Yeah. Big facts. Like yeah, I wrote a whole when the Dr. Birds video came out, I wrote a whole piece like I wrote like a tribute to Hype Williams just because like
Man,
I just felt like that needed to happen.
I hope he saw that shit too.
Yeah, me too. Be crazy if you did. For anybody for anybody listening, I'll link it below.
Yeah,
Wherever
man.
you're listening, and you can go check it. But that's one of my favorite pieces I ever written. So I just had to say that real
What?
quick.
Yeah, man.
Um, so yeah, like now that we're over here, let's jump over to the music. Like when did music first kind of grip you? Because I mean, like it seems like it kind of happened around the time of like Hype Williams and Belly anyway, and like your kind of rap and
Mhm.
film fascination kind of started at a pretty young age. So like, where did the music come
Yeah.
in with that?
I would say the music, like the generic cliche answer is like the music is in my family. It's in the DNA. So I attribute a lot of my executing music. I guess you could say my practicing. I attribute a lot of that to my nana because she bought me a keyboard, I want to say, my first keyboard when I was a kid. And that started my self-taught pianist, I guess. That started that. My mom had got me this little microphone set or whatever. I feel like I was 2 when I got that. And once we could get these fucking VHS tapes transferred over, like I got a nice fucking archive of early Cheeno rapping days.
That's hard.
Yeah, it's gonna be worth some money too. So I'm holding on to it. But yeah, the actual like feeling like, you know, when you're a kid, you just like to do something, but actually feeling like called to do it, I would say middle school ish. Is when I was like, you know, that's when I was doing the battle raps, the battle rapping. That scene grabbed me. Because if you think about it, battle rap is really just written like that's all script. It's just it's a script for a movie. It's theatrics, the way you gotta deliver it, and it's a script.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, man. So I started doing battle rap. I was freestyling. Probably high school. When I was a freshman, I started using SoundCloud. I started releasing music. This was 2011, I believe, 2010, 2011. And I was on Twitter, and I was like actively promoting myself as a rapper, like, and I had a nice buzz for somebody that I never sucked, but do I think I sucked now? Absolutely. But I would put my shit out, and you know, I was a SoundCloud rapper, but I had a nice following, and I just stuck with it. I got serious when I realized, one, this shit feels deeper than just these uploads. Like, there's a certain feeling I get when I'm putting this music out that I don't want to let go of.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, I'm coming with something that I don't think is out there yet. So let's push to be the biggest out at some point, so that my message is not, you know, in vain. So I would say North Carolina, once I got out here in 2015, right. One of those, I kind of got serious, and that's when I started, I would say, investing. I had never been in a professional studio until I got to North Carolina. I started spending my own money. I started building my own teams. I met my own engineer, and I've been working with the same guy since then.
Oh, wow.
Trying to lock in on a sound. Actually, I worked with a couple engineers prior to meeting my engineer out here. I worked exactly 2 engineers prior. And I've locked in with my guy, I want to say 2017, 2018, one of those. And I've been with him since.
Wow.
Yeah, man, I'm loyal. And also I like to grow alongside people that I start with. It's just a certain kind of it just feels better that way to me sometimes.
Like there's definitely value in like having people around that you started with, and like seeing how, like, you know, like there's like that sense of familiarity, and just like that sense of like, you know, like, you get me, like I don't have to like explain, like you like every once in a while it's good to have to explain yourself, but like if you can just kind of tap in with somebody who knows your style and knows your preferences and knows, like, you know, even knows how to get inside your own head on some other shit. Like it's right. There's something to that you can't get from somebody else. But you know, it's like that's worth it. That's worth it.
Exactly. Thank you. I think so too. So I kind of been sticking with him and pushing through, and now I'm here. So I would say I've been musically inclined, or music's been my affinity my entire life, but professionally I feel like I've been a music professional for about 6 or 7 years.
Right.
So yeah.
And you know, like you kind of touched on it already, but I'm a little interested in the transition the transition from Brooklyn to North Carolina, like on top of you deciding you wanted to like literally invest in, like I guess kind of like take me deeper into like what about your experience, or like what else about the trip to North Carolina kind of pushed you to really do like music for real? Because if I remember correctly, you also started writing poetry around the time you went to North Carolina too. So like
Correct.
how did all of that kind of come together and like really inform your decision to like really pursue this music shit for real?
Yeah. So quick little TL, quick little timeline. I was born in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I was raised in Brooklyn. I moved back to Atlanta when I was in middle school, end of middle school. And then I did middle school, high school, and 2 years of college in Georgia. So the decision to leave Georgia and come to North Carolina was two things. One, my mental was just, I was very fucked up. I felt like I was becoming a very fucked up individual. Around that time, that was my sophomore year of college. I was just not, you can tell you're not you, but you're not you enough to tell you that you're not you. So you still be
I feel you, bro, for real.
Yeah. So I was in a fucked up spot, and luckily my mom had got an opportunity to move to North Carolina, so I just had to just decide to follow. So I finished out my fall semester at college there, and then I moved after visiting, and I just felt like, I'm gonna take a break from school. I gotta get me right. Maybe I'll get a job, make some money. So I did that, and then I re-enrolled in college as a sophomore at UNCC. Doing that, I knew that I had put something on pause because I was doing music in Georgia, so I felt like I needed to pick it back up. I joined this like poetry club on campus. It was called Soul Speak. I am somewhat indebted to them in a way because they kind of convinced me that my rap was a form of poetry. So I had all of the qualifications that that you needed to join. And so they welcomed me into that, and they actually pushed me to perform my first night being a member. And I performed a song that I had written for a class assignment. And I had rapped it, but I was like, "Are y'all sure this is poetry?" They were like, "Yes, just do what you do." And I rapped it, and the applause that I got was like, "Oh shit, okay, so okay, got it." So they came here for poetry, but I got to stand an ovation rapping this shit. Okay, cool. So I kind of just blended the two, and then got into some more spoken word, just feeling like I wanted to challenge myself. But then also kind of tapping back into my battle rap, my old school freestyle, because a lot of those were acapella and just delivery was the essence of them. So I want to say I kind of just got a lot of pushes to like just take a shot. And though I was performing around Charlotte as a poet, I was gaining access points to then perform later as an artist, as a recording artist.
Right.
So I kind of like doubled back on places that I had, venues that we had done as poets with the school as Cheeno Ghee now, the MC.
Right.
And just like that one time I performed on campus for the first time, my own shit. I'm performing my own shit out here in the city that I've only been in for so long, and the way I was received in the Charlotte community was dope as fuck. And within that same year of me performing for the first time my own music, I started getting the Rhapsodies hitting me up and taking notice of what I was doing. And I was like, oh, wait, I only been doing this for 3 years maybe at this point. But I just stuck with it. And so really I just it felt like it was outside sources kind of pushing me in the direction of getting serious when I got out here, but probably all along in the back of my mind, like I said, I knew I was fucked up and I knew I needed to get to a better place to execute the way I couldn't necessarily in Georgia. So it was just like that clean slate that I needed.
Right. Yeah, no, that restart for sure. And like that's I'm so interested in this like little intersection between battle rap poetry and like straight rapping that like you're talking about here. Like that's because yeah, and like especially the whole like you kind of describing battle rap as like just like a movie with a script. Like I've never thought about that in that specific way. And like that's just like and you know like that really got me thinking just now like hearing your story just got me thinking about how that's all like this is all script for the movie. Like I know that kind of sounds a little corny, but like that's like that's like
not to me.
that's like that's like you know like you kind of like you took all these different elements because like even though it's all quote unquote poetry at the end of the day, right? But like there is a difference between being a battle rapper, being a poet, and being an MC, being a rapper. Like those like those things are different. Like there's different unspoken rules to follow. There's different ways that you put the shit together. Like
absolutely.
And you know, like the thing, like considering all that like lineage there, it makes so much sense why you love to freestyle the way you do and like why your freestyles come out the way they do. And like that's I was going to talk about this later, but like your freestyles are something else. Like it's you go in. Like I was watching the I-95 joint last night and like just like like it's just like there's just something that just like takes over and I just feel like because even if you're like spitting a written, like there's a difference between hearing it on the record and hearing it in that moment, you know, like that, like that's all performance. And like that's you know like the whole idea of freestyling is so like nebulous and complicated and like people have different thoughts and feelings about it. So I guess like what like because you know like some people feel like they have to be completely off the top. Some people are like you can come in with a written and do whatever.
Ooh,
like
are you about to ask me my opinion? Yes, please.
Yes, yeah, come on. Like what to you makes a great freestyle? Like I gotta know.
A great freestyle to me. So again, there are those moments where it's got to be off the top. My thing is that we are not in those times anymore. We're not in the same time of music period anymore.
Facts.
So unless it can't be unspoken anymore. Like you literally have to tell me off the top for it to be off the top. Because as somebody, as an MC with written as strong as mine are, why would I withhold this from you in a moment where I'm supposed to really come and deliver?
Right.
It's almost like you setting someone up for failure. Now, I'm also an MC who can freestyle off the top, but you literally have to verbalize that to me.
Right.
Or you're going to get it written. It is what it is. I don't hold that against anybody that they took the time to go home and perfect the delivery. Like that's almost harder than coming off the top. Because if you're coming off the top, there's almost like a sense of like, well, shit, if you stumble, that's it's all good because you coming off the top. No, I don't. I'm an artist and I'm a performer. I'm not coming here to fuck up. Like I'm coming here with the perfect delivery, with my breath control together, and with the punchlines. Like that's harder, and so that should be respected a little bit more than it is. Not more than a off top, but more than it is.
Right.
I don't get caught in the crossfires of that too much, or because I know that we've evolved. That mind frame, that mentality should have evolved by now. I would much rather hear an on point written than a fucking sloppy off the top. I can't give it that.
Yeah, I feel it. It's like, it's like I said before, like everybody has like different perspectives on like what it means to do a freestyle, but like
Oh
that's
yeah,
like,
somebody gonna call me an idiot when they hear that,
hey,
but it is
nah,
what it
like,
is.
but like, but being like, I don't think you are. And like, I like, like, I'm somebody who appreciates both. Like, there are people who are really good at both different kinds, but like,
Yeah,
I'm also not like a stickler for one or the other, like, it's just
yeah,
like we're at a point now where like freestyling means so many different things to so many different people, but at the end of the day it's all about performance, and it depends on the kind of
absolutely,
performance that you want to give, like it's just like,
absolutely,
and like if that's a written recontextualized over a different beat, that's fine, because that's a performance, like you said, that you have to go back and like work on delivery, work on memorization. Like there's like there are
yep,
levels to that that make it as impressive as it would, at least in my opinion, to do like
absolutely.
as like an off top would be. And like and like if you can go off top and like have it be clean and whatever, like,
It's
like more power to you. Like that's great.
I was
But
about to
like,
say it's very few of those. It's
right,
very few.
yeah.
I still don't know of an MC as clean off the top as King Los. You know who King Los is?
Like, yeah, oh, of course I know who King Los is. Yeah, nah, shout out to
Los
Los.
is fucking outrageous off top. It's not many, and what's most impressive to me about him is his vocabulary. He's not
Right.
rhyming hot and pot. It's like elaborate, like word choices coming from him off top. That a lot of people cannot do. So if you come in like that, who am I to tell you to go home and write? But
Right.
a lot of people, most people ain't coming like that.
Yeah, like for me, like I look at people like Los and people like Fred the Godson, for example. Like I was just
Woo,
watching
rest
his
in
I was just
peace,
watching,
man.
man, for real. Like, no, man, Fred the
Woo,
Godson was he was different. Like I was watching his Hot
man.
97 shit last night. Like, and just like between like him, but like I love people like King Los and Fred the Godson, but then you get people like G Herbo. Like Herbo's an incredible freestyler. Like he goes up to
Mhm,
like I seen him go up to Flex and just like pour his fucking heart out. And like there are
mhm.
some people like Herbo where like I can't tell if it's a written or if it's a off the top, because like
Exactly,
he's in the moment. Like that's what I
exactly.
love about a good freestyle. Like a good freestyle, regardless of whether or not you write it or you go completely off top, it pulls you in to the point where it doesn't matter.
Absolutely,
Like, nigga, I'm spitting.
absolutely,
Like that's it, like that's it. So
absolutely.
yeah, nah, I agree. I'm with you. I'm with you for real.
So
And like, and like taking all of that into consideration, I want to talk about your first EP, Child, because I ran through it last night a couple of times, and
hey,
just
okay,
like a considering, I mean, like, like you had already been making music for a little while at that point, but like that project just feels so clean for like a
thank you.
debut EP. Like I can't tell you how many
Yeah,
times I ran Juveniles back. Like Juveniles is just
yes,
like
yes.
that's the one for me. Like just to hear to hear like your first 7-song project and be like, wow, like just like the control that you have like over,
Mhm,
yeah, because like you're telling stories and getting shit off your chest, and you're just like flexing just for the hell of it on top of all of that. But like Juveniles is like such a,
absolutely.
there's just like, I was just really impressed by like the amount of control you had over just like the stuff that you wanted to say at that point
Yes,
already.
sir.
And then
Thank you.
and of course, and then to see that juxtaposed against something like Confess Child, where like you start,
Right?
also I gotta say, I love the fact that you started that off with the live version that was clearly recorded at some open mic with people cheering for you.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
and then you get like the first like 4, 5, or 6 bars in, and then you run those back again like with the cleaner mixing, and it's just
yes,
like that's just like, I love stuff
yes.
like that. Like I
Thank
love
you.
stuff like that. So like, what so like talk to me about making Child, and like what, and just like kind of how that came together with just like you. How do I want to ask, like I'm like stuck on how I want to ask this question. Like what inspired you to kind of like give so much of your, like, because you said earlier that you're like a private person, but like
Yeah.
listening to a project like this, like I wouldn't say that you're a very private person. Like, this
I
is
think that was
raw.
my goal. Yeah, that was my. I think that was my goal, and I'm trying to put myself back in that space exactly of deciding on it and then creating it. It's like that was 2018. So like I said, I had just probably done my very first like open mic in the city and got the well, we like Cheeno Ghee, you know what I mean? Just in the applause. So I felt like, okay, you think you know me, you think you like me, let me test it for real. So I felt like I wanted to rebrand myself, not even rebrand, because I wasn't. People who knew me as a poet, I think. So I was like, no, guys, I'm a poet, yes, but I really do this music shit. So I felt like I needed to introduce myself. And the best way to do that is honestly and openly. So I just scoured fucking YouTube for a good amount of time and found me I won't even say I found 7. I found maybe 20 plus beats, but I narrowed it down to 7 that I had written something extremely cohesive to. And I was like, you know what? This is an EP. This is a collection right here. The name Child. Like, I remember promoting it. My promo was so bootleg, but I'm proud of it because I think I delivered exactly what it was that followed in the project. But the whole thing, Child, was like, it was just about my mentality at that point. And I now that you've heard it, like, I don't know if this should resonate now that you've heard it, but you tell me if it doesn't. The whole essence of Child and that whole thing was my mentality and just my willingness to learn and my willingness to be out there, to make those mistakes that a child does, to say maybe the wrong thing at the wrong time like a child would, but with the best intentions, right? So I don't know, does that resonate as a listener?
No, it totally does, you know, like, even
okay, awesome,
because you know, like, especially like once again, especially on a joint like Juveniles, like that's like the tech, like that's it right there, like that exemplifies everything you just said, you know, like
thank you.
Oh yeah, no doubt, like it's definitely there, and like it's just, but even considering all of that, like, you know, like you're kind of grappling with this like childlike mentality and just like, you know, like immaturity even, and like, but like the music is so focused, and so like I said, like I just, it just flows, you know, like the whole thing, just like it's so like that's a really crazy, like that's a really crazy thing to clash against each other, like to, you know, like to have this control that you have, but to also still kind of see yourself as like emotionally or like whatever immature, and like that,
absolutely,
and like
very
that
much.
that's good music, you know, like that's how you know. Yeah, like I just really took to that, and you know, like it like you said, it resonates even more now that you're like telling me that. So that's crazy.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's my goal is to get back to funny enough. My goal is to get back to that space that I was in mentally with Child. Not so much the immaturity aspect, but I just absolutely had no expectations. I just had intentions with that project, and I haven't been in a space without expectations for a while, even as an independent. You know, most of my expectations are coming from myself, are being put on me by me. And it's a little difficult on my creative process because I'm like, no, I gotta put out something that they're gonna want to write about.
Yeah.
No, I gotta put out something that I can submit. He said he needs a clean like, you know what I mean? All these stipulations. And when I dropped Child, fucking none of that. And it was still received well. I still felt big in the moment. I still felt, you know, I still nearly sold out a headlining show off of that project. So it's like, I don't know. growing pains.
Right. And you're like,
Growing pains.
especially going from something like child to like whomever it may to whomever it may concern, where you're like
Man,
you dig even further into yourself, like even like on something like fucking 1010 Saratoga Ave, like just like that's like opening a project with a song like that is very like it's very like
man,
it like forgive me, but it kind of gives me like those like Drake timestamp tracks, like the fucking like 4 a.m. in
yeah, I
Calabasas
take
type
that, I
shit,
take
like
that, I take that.
like I like like it kind of has that energy to it, and like and like it kind of sets the stage for something even wilder. So like like create so like going from so like what was the biggest difference? Because like you're saying that right now you want to kind of go back to what you kind of were feeling and experiencing during child, but like what was the
Yeah.
major difference between making child and making to whomever it may concern for you?
The biggest difference was um I had just placed a lot of, like I said, expectations and weight on myself during the entire time of writing and releasing Twig. Like that was at a point where I was calling myself a label CEO. You know what I mean? And so I was creating my project and trying to push my project while simultaneously writing for and executive producing another project while
Mm,
helping an A&R try to become an A&R while trying, you know what I mean? So it was just, I was wearing more hats than I should have been. And at times the CEO hat was heavier than the artist hat, and it just kind of, I felt like it took away from some of just the enjoyment of it, but
mm,
never the craft, because I would never put out something that I don't feel emotionally satisfied with. I was 100% satisfied with the 10 songs, but my mind was all over the place. Unlike with Child, I knew Child was an EP. I went back and forth between what the fuck Twick was probably 10 times. I was like, I don't know. Is this an album? Is this an LP? Is this an EP? Is this just 10 fucking singles? Like, I don't know.
right.
And it just, it was just a different stage. Um, but like I said, try not to let it ever take away from my craft. So what you got in the music was exactly what I was feeling in those moments. 1010 was recorded a bit earlier. Like 1010 is actually a record that I had been holding on to. I'm guilty of holding on to records. I had been holding on to that from the previous year. And it just, I was like, you know what? This still counts. This still is exactly. So I used that for the intro. Whereas Savoir Faire was something that was like, okay, man, I got to get this off my chest, because if I don't, this project, I will not be being 100% honest. If they don't hear something like the first verse in Savoir Faire, which was, oh, I thought a nigga hitting me for features every week, it says something to me. Like, if I didn't get
Yeah.
that out, I was not being honest at that time. That's exactly how I felt. So that's what I led with. But just overall, I think just the pressure, and it was self placed pressure. It was also a pressure of, damn, I got this one single out that did 200K by itself, and I still have not beaten that. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
what was it about Off the Strength that jumped? Was it the tempo? Was it the hook? Was it the, like, I don't know what it was, or maybe it was just the timing. So it's also a matter of me trying to find what that record would be. Funny enough, the record that it ended up being was not the record that I thought it was going to be. 1010 is actually the most successful track on that
Yeah.
on
It's
that
it's it
project. So
because it's never the one it's never the one you expect it to be. Like
it's
99
bro. I'm like,
99% of the time it's not the one you expect.
I'm just like, I got, okay. So out of these 10 songs, y'all sure y'all didn't hear in the, but yeah, that's what it was.
Like,
That's what it was.
yeah, and yeah, like to your point, it's real easy to get stuck in your head about like what makes a song or like what makes a song that like connects with people tick. And you know, like I definitely, like there are some times where I go through that with like writing and things, and like even episodes of the podcast, like I love every conversation I have, but every once in a while I'm just like, oh, people seem to like this one more than they like this one, and like this one that I didn't expect to go as crazy is going crazy. And you know, like and like it's really easy to get stuck in your own head and be like what is it about certain things that just like make them go? But at the same time, it's just at the same time, you just kind of have to trust in yourself and know that people who are listening want to hear what you have to say, no matter what it is. You know, like you're at that point where you have that, you know, and that's priceless. You know, like that's really priceless to have people who are going to support you no matter what. So
yeah, man, I'm trying to hold on to that shit. I really am, because I can't imagine, you know, being what I would like to call an algorithm writer, but you know, but I definitely feel like I have things that would appeal on a larger scale to the masses. It's all about, I guess, what my engineer's been trying to tell me is it's just a matter of time and professionalism, like just getting more professionals around me and not deviating from what I do, but just, you know, elevating, adding on to what I do. And so that's the space that I'm in now, and like I have every intention this year to drop something every month on the 22nd. So we'll see how that goes. I've never done that before. I usually just drop when I want, but it's like a matter of, okay, if I were signed to a label and they gave me these dates, you know, could I deliver? So I'm kind of again putting that pressure on myself, but it's okay. We're gonna I'm committed to it.
Yeah, nah, like sometimes pressure is good, and it sounds like your engineer has a really good head on their shoulders. So shout out to them too.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Brody the GOAT. He's the engineer. He's been elevating himself. You know, he's in the 5 years that I've known him and been working with him. He's gotten some Grammys. Working with the baby and a couple other artists. So, you know, I already value his opinion. You know what I mean? But now I know it's coming from a place of, okay, I'm experiencing this in real time. So I'm telling you, like, and I'm like, oh shit, well, I'll take that. So yeah, shout out to my guy Brody.
Yeah, like always, because like engineers don't get the credit they deserve for the work they do behind the scenes. And like and if we want to go back to the movie metaphor real quick, like you were talking about with battle rap, like the engineers are like the editors for a movie, you know, because editors, like the editor is the person who makes the movie. You know, like the artists, you know, like the actors act, and everybody else, like the costume designers and everything, they do all their thing. And like with music, like, you know, like the vocalist does their thing, the producer does their thing, but then the engineer is the person who comes in and makes it like presentable. Like maybe presentable is the wrong word, but just like they're the person who like makes it ready to go out. You know, like that, like they're the person who really like makes it shine.
They'll take all of the things that just happened and they'll make it, and it'll translate on the screen. If it doesn't translate, you know. And now, luckily for Brody, when he's working with me, I only require so much. You know, I consider myself a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to and I'm very sure of my sound and things like that. So luckily, it ain't a whole bunch of plastic surgery going on in our sessions.
Right, of course. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But still, with across the board, you know, he does what he does to make sure that I'm, you know, sounding industry level, and I'm grateful for that, because I have no idea what industry level is. I don't listen to the radio. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, you know, yeah. And yeah, like that's why I felt bad about saying presentable, because it's just more about just like fleshing out the experience and like and you know, like you said, like making sure it translates, and like that's what an editor does. You know, like the editor like takes the raw footage and puts it together and like does whatever needs to be done to make it, you know, like
Absolutely.
flow from beginning, middle to end. And
Absolutely.
like that's so, you know, like editors and engineers are people who just never get the credit they deserve. So like shout out to y'all for real, because y'all really do
For
that
real.
for so many of us. Like yeah,
Absolutely.
like as a writer, like my editors, you know, like you know, like I'd be not like not nothing, but like I'd be much lesser without my editors. So like shouts to y'all for real.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, and you know, on top of all of that, you also produce, which is like
Yeah.
seeing the video of you fucking playing around with the beat machine was super duper dope. Like so,
Thank
like
you.
yeah, no, of course, like no doubt. Like so, like when did that start for you? Like when did that become an interest? And has making beats kind of changed the way that you approach rapping at all? Because I'm always really interested in talking to rapper producers, because like I just feel like they see things different. Like there's so many different like
Absolutely.
yes, yeah. So like what's that been like for
Absolutely.
you?
So I'll start with I've always been drawn to the idea of being a one woman machine, right? Like I want to be a one stop shop. Like this has always been something I've thought about, being self sufficient. And I got to a point where not only was I loving beats and was I just absolutely enamored with production, but I was like in need of it, right? So you just say, okay, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna go. I'm a buy a beat machine because fuck it. Everybody want to be a rapper. I'm gonna start producing. Fuck it. And so I went out, bought me some equipment, and just took it back to some of my oldest like inspirations, which one Kanye, two Missy Elliott, three Pharrell. You know what I mean? Those guys.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like sitting with it. I know that a lot of my issues have been with sampling. So at some point, I was like, okay, well, maybe I should try to stay away from samples, because those could be tricky. So I started playing the instruments. I've been playing all the instruments, and just actually developing like an insane amount of respect for producers. Because what I've been learning is that like is the difference between people that make beats and people that produce. Like
Facts.
Two different worlds. You know what I mean? So I haven't come to the total understanding of that, because like I've only been producing for, well, I'm almost gonna be at about a year roughly in April.
Oh wow, so it's been pretty recent. Okay.
Yeah, no, I literally just started, and I didn't have enough confidence in my beats to even post until November of last year. Excuse me. So from
Bless you.
March up, and thank you, from March till November, I was like, no, I'm not there. But my 25th birthday last year in November, I was like, forget it. I got to put this out, because if I don't ever put this out, one, I'm not going to grow because nobody's going to know what I sound like. Two, I'll just literally never do it if I don't. So I put it out. Like I said, from there, it's just been a total, like the same way I say it's the difference between rappers and storytellers. It's the difference between rappers and MCs. Like the difference between beat makers and producers. It's a real thing. And I almost am kind of jealous of producer rappers, because I feel like, okay, you've mastered the foundation, which is the beat, the production. And now it's just a matter of building on top of that. Whereas I've mastered the roof, the floor, I have the chairs, I have all the decor in the house, but there's no foundation, because I'm learning how to build that with, you know what I mean, after the fact. So
it's almost like you're a rapper or something. You put that so well. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, dude, no, seriously, dude. Like I consider myself up there with some of the greatest MCs wise, and I would only be selling myself short to not want to be the greatest at another thing that I pick up, which is producing. Especially, like I said, I love music. And I just love it. I just love it. Just to be able to create. I actually created a beat last night on accident that I am so pleased with. It makes no sense. Like, that may be one of the first of my own productions that I rap on, because it sounds like I could have found this on YouTube, you know, minus the technical, which my engineer would get in my ass about, you know, the mixing and the levels and things, obviously. But just the core of the beat, the essence is there, and I was so pleased. So yeah, I plan on continuing to do it. I won't let it stifle my rap, you know, my writing. So I'm trying to find, you know, balance between the two, and also not feeling like I don't have to rap on my beats, because I have some amazing producers in my corner, and I also have an amazing ear for beats, so I can find whatever I need to find.
Right.
But yeah, man, it's been a journey. It's like I said, I'm about to go on. I'm coming up on my 1 year, so I got a long way to go, I'm sure. But just I'm dedicated to mastering this.
Right. And you know, like you can tell, like, just or I mean like I can tell just from like having talked to you for this last like hour and change that we've been on the phone. Like, it's just that's like that drive doesn't come through in everybody. And like and it's just like, look at what you do, you know, like you rap, you produce, now you have your own label that you're running, and like you're working with A&Rs, and like you've really, like you've really invested yourself in this, like as an independent artist on just about every possible level, you know, like that's
yeah,
you know, like that's a, you know, like that's a different kind of hustle, like just kind of doing all that, like taking it upon yourself to do all of that is a lot. And you know, just like, and just like living a life on top of that is just like, you know, there's just a lot that comes with that. And you know, like I guess the last thing I want to ask to kind of wrap this up is like, you mentioned it a bunch over the course, but like you put a lot of pressure on yourself to kind of like either like conform to things, or like meet certain deadlines, or like have a specific sound, or like a specific thing you want. Like, looking back on everything you've accomplished over the course of the last like 5-6 years, with the cosigns, with the mounting freestyles, and like and like these fire singles you put out the past couple of months, like you know, like we've already talked about the singles, but like, you know, like that's like just like looking back on like how see now I'm trying to figure out how I want to ask this question. Like, looking back on everything you've accomplished, like what like pressure, like pressure is a really difficult, pressure can be a really difficult thing to navigate. And like it's a thing that like it's just like it could be that voice in the back of your head. So like, as you've kind of moved forward, like has that voice in your head started to get a little quieter, or like how, or actually no, let me ask you differently. Like how is the voice, like has the voice in the back of your head changed at all? Like, has it gotten louder? Has it gotten quieter? Are you putting more pressure on yourself, less pressure on yourself? Like what, where are you at right now with that? And like, where do you want to go from here?
Man, I like that. I like the way you asked that one better.
Thank you.
That one. Appreciate it. The voice in the back of my head, I would say, has gotten clearer.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it's crystal clear now. It's like you said, you just brought up all those things that I try to manage, and fairly recently, that voice in the back of my head has said, you know what? I got to be honest with you. We probably could have been there already if you would have dropped some of these responsibilities. You know what I mean? If you would drop some of these self-inflicted obligations, and maybe delegate it a little better, or just focused on you a little bit more, a lot more actually, we probably could have been somewhere else. I believe in God's timing very much. So I don't think that I missed anything. I think everything that I could have already had is still there, and probably bigger. But the voice in the back of my mind is telling me to become um, a greater supporter of Cheeno, because I'm trying to, I have dreams for being able to build up this community of just like-hearted people. I have dreams of having my imprint and my footprint in many different grounds. Like I have that, and I know that I have the ability to do so, the capacity and the drive, like you said, to actually see it through. The biggest thing is getting myself there. And
right.
As an independent, I literally have to get myself there. So just like going forward, I'm like, you know what? I have to prioritize me and understand that GCE Tha Label is a label, but it's me. You know what I mean? Production is another craft, but it's me. MCing is my heart, but it's me. So I just have to get me there to be able to unlock all of these dreams and all this potential that I've already seen in a dream years ago. So, right.
Yeah, because
listening now.
Right. Like if you're not good, like how can you help other people? And like
literally.
Like as like a label head in that way, like, like you're helping people, like whether that's producers, other artists, like you need, you need to make sure you're straight so that everybody else can kind of perform at their level on top of you wanting to perform at your level. It's just like there's just like a different level of responsibility there that I think is I like have a lot of admiration and respect for. And seeing
it's real, man.
Right. For real. And like seeing the way that you've kind of cultivated this movement around yourself, and just like the quality of the music that you're dropping has been real dope. And I just like, like I'm just really blown away by the way I'm just blown away at how you've been able to do this and still like, just like talking to you, like just like hearing the way you talk. It's just very like you're just like laid back is the wrong word, but you sound like relaxed, like all the things that you're doing, like you sound relaxed. You sound like, like I got this and this, but we here type shit, like I just
absolutely. That's it. that's it. I mean, it's a little late for New Year's resolutions, but I did not set any at the top of the year, but to dedicate myself to my craft. I literally just yesterday on March 2nd got to a point of New Year's resolution, and it's like, you know what? I gotta get me first. You know what I mean? I gotta get me first. And I can't help but be relaxed in that fact, because I know me. I know what I want. I know what I need. I know, you know what I mean? I know how to support me. So it's just, I'm there.
Yeah, man. Like that like that knowledge itself is what was I trying to say? Man, I'm stumbling over myself.
I'm following you, bro. I like it. I liked it.
That knowledge ain't power until you apply it. That's what I wanted to say.
That part.
shout out to Chris Crack. That was his. I've been listening to his. I've been listening to his new album a lot because I'm reviewing it for Pitchfork. But like, that knowledge ain't power until you apply it. That's some of the realest shit I ever heard. And like, it's just, just like I don't got no more questions for you, but like, just thank you, like thank you, like not even just for taking the time to talk to me, but like thank you for just like putting on the way you do for like not just for other people but for yourself. And really just like that's one thing that I've really taken away from your music is that just like kind of confiding in yourself and admitting and just kind of like breaking down thoughts in your own head and like putting them out in the world, however, like whether it's through music or through writing or through whatever your craft may be, like for anybody listening, like it's just like that's like that's that stuff saves lives. You know, like not to get too heavy
real.
with it, but like that, like really,
Nah.
you know, like we look to we look to each other for clarity in that respect, and seeing you kind of sift through your mind and kind of, you know, like come out the other side, like as a rapper, producer, label head, all the things you do is like, that's inspiring for people. It's inspiring to me. So like, thank you for what you do. For real.
Thank you for being an appreciator of it. And I, since from the first time I hit you about it, I haven't regretted it. I feel like a synergy. So I appreciate you and what you do, what you bring. The art ain't shit without the appreciators. You know what I mean? So that matters. And I hope that you get a whiff of this this new sound and this new music as I start rolling it out, and I just look forward to a very blissful 2022 for both of us.
Yeah, nah, I'm ready. I'm ready whenever you are. I'm excited to hear these monthly drops. Like, you know, just keep them.
Yes,
you know,
man.
just like like just line them up. I'm ready for
Absolutely.
it. Like,
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far, and shout out to all the Black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.